It's never been a better time to study and look at the literature on emotional intelligence. What we are going through these days across all platforms, different countries, different sectors and industries, given that COVID-19 changed the game, dynamics of employment, interpersonal communications, leadership, behavior, culture. It changed everything almost overnight. Now what we are facing is a lot of leaders, executives, managers, supervisors, employees, and everybody else. Cab drivers, those who work in a supermarket, students, cleaners, gardeners, little children sometimes. We are facing enormous amount of uncertainty, and some people, especially employees who have lost their jobs, they are experiencing anxiety, fear, and again, high level of uncertainty. One of the concepts that we have in organizational behavior is emotional intelligence, and there is a growing body of knowledge around the linkage between organizational citizenship behavior and dimensions of emotional intelligence. In a recent study published in Journal of Social Psychology, researchers looked at the relationship between locus of control, organizational citizenship behavior, and emotional intelligence in individuals and in organizational level. Results indicated that there is a positive relationship between emotional intelligence and organizational citizenship behavior. There are a lot of research findings around this relationship and linkage in a positive fashion. However, the result of this particular study also showed that locus of control strengthens the relationship or linkage between EI or emotional intelligence and organizational citizenship behavior. So it is really important, given the situation that most of us are facing these days, to ask ourselves, and the question that came from my students, how do I know if I am emotionally intelligent? It starts with perceiving your own emotions and to be aware of how other people are feeling. So my emotions and other people's emotions. An attempt to understand what they mean to me, and also to regulate those emotions. It's got a lot to do with coping with stress, managing anger, managing anxiety, stabilizing your emotions. And the questions, some simple questions we can ask ourselves. It starts with, am I authentic? Am I authentic? Do I praise others, particularly in organizations? Do I praise my employees for their contribution and dedication? Do I show empathy? Do I pay attention to the message or just to the words? Which one is important for me, the essence of a message, or I have very irrational reactions sometimes, which comes from dysregulated emotions and not being aware of our emotions. A radical, irrational reaction when we get negative feedback, for example. Do I apologize people when I hurt them in one way or another? There are some of the basic questions we can ask ourselves to kind of self-assess and see if we are emotionally intelligent. It's very important to talk about this topic, as well as talking about the transition in leadership styles in many organizations because of what we are going through as a result of most people staying at home, or some people losing their jobs, or some of our top talents working remotely, some of our executives and leaders. They may not necessarily be familiar with how to manage this new game, the new dynamic of communication, supervision, providing quality feedback, and enabling people to work in a collaborative, positive, and still engaging environment that fosters growth and also encourages people to work hard, because there are promotional opportunities available for them. So working remotely doesn't necessarily mean working with a negative mindset, having negative emotions, but we need to look at those emotions. We need to look at our communications. We need to look at our culture. We need to look at our leadership styles. Now we have to talk about innovation, engagement, performance evaluation, rewarding people and making them individually accountable for what they have to deliver, and also reward them individually and as a team. So let's hope that in our next lecture we can talk more and more about emotional intelligence, organizational citizenship behavior, locus of control, internal and external, culture, motivating people, structure in organizations, perception, attitude, and many other concepts that are rooted deeply in psychology, social psychology, and sociology, as well as management and organizational transformation studies. Until then, I wish you the best, and I hope you stay safe, and make sure you review your study material, and make sure you go through your ebook. And if you have any questions, feel free to send me an email. Until then,